All right, so the UC application process is somewhat similar to the CSU. For fall transfer students, the application opens up on August 1st, and you can begin working on the application, but you cannot hit submit until November 1st. So you have between November 1st and November 30th to get that application in. My recommendation is that you try to get it done by mid-November. We've seen situations where there's a glitch with the application on the last day, students can't hit submit because of a computer problem, and it just causes all kinds of stress. This particular year, November 30th falls on a weekend, and it's the weekend after Thanksgiving. So, we are not going to be there Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, and so it's important that you get the help that you need prior to that deadline. If you're applying to a winter or spring quarter or semester, the application is July 1st through the 31st. So upper division transfer students are those that have 60 or more transferable units. Again, there are a few situations where you could be a lower division transfer student, but it's not very common, especially within the UC system. Within the application, there's 4 insight questions that you have to answer, and we'll have an assignment around there. There's 1 mandatory question that all students answer, and then there's 7 additional questions that you choose 3 to answer. Within the UC application, the same with the CSU, you're going to report all coursework you've ever taken from all colleges, and that includes everything. Those non-transferable courses, anything you've repeated, withdrew from, or did academic renewal. And you also do a UC update in January to report what your fall grades were, as well as if there were any changes to your spring courses from what you put in the application. There's a $70 application fee for every school that you apply for, but you can receive a fee waiver for up to 4 campuses through the UC application. All right, so the application is actually brand new. This term is the first time they're using it, and they've streamlined it. UC does a really good job of doing research and making sure things make sense and asking for input from students as well as community college counselors and things like that. One thing I do want to point out about the UC update in January is that if you are applying to UC Berkeley, you will do the general UC update, and you'll also do an update specifically for Berkeley. So it's important that you realize that that's a 2-step process, okay? And that's Berkeley only. So I have the application up here. All right, so I am in the system. I'm at apply.universityofcalifornia.edu, and I'm already signed in. Shrink this down a little bit. Okay, so I'm looking at this open application that I've completed for winter quarter or spring semester, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So I've already begun this, but when you go in at the beginning, you're obviously going to create that account. They have a few questions that you are going to answer about your status. Are you a freshman? Are you a transfer? Are you a upper division transfer, a junior transfer, or lower division? So a couple questions like that, very simple. And then this is kind of your landing page. So you can see there's 2 sections I've already completed. I have check marks there. The rest of the sections are not done yet, so I need to continue to work on that. So the About You section is, very obviously easy. It's everything about you. There really isn't, much in here that you couldn't answer. There's some citizenship questions, ethnicity, gender and sexual orientation, your background, your household. So the household income, that is how they are figuring out if you are eligible to receive a fee waiver for the application. So it's coming off of the information that you're inputting into this box here. So even though I, reported I am married with a child, it's still asking what was my parents' highest level of education. And so no matter where you are in life, they're still asking that parent information. Okay, so that is the About You section. So then it goes into campuses and majors. So this is the information that I filled out at the beginning when I filled my information out. And then I had to choose campuses. So let me hit edit so that you can see this. So for winter or spring, the only campuses available are Merced, Riverside, and Santa Cruz. So those are the only ones I could pick from. I can't pick Berkeley or Davis because they're not open. Now that would be different for, a fall transfer student. And so right here, they're telling me I've qualified for a UC application fee waiver, so I can apply to 4 campuses for free. So it's right up front. That's something that they've changed. It used to be at the very end of the application. Now you know up front what the estimated cost is. So if I did not receive that fee waiver, it was over $200 to apply to the 3 campuses. So once I've chosen my campuses, I'm choosing my major, okay? So I went in and I did UC Merced. So at UC Riverside, I can go in and choose my major, and I'm going in, by the various categories. So I had said that I was a Soc major. So I'm going to go ahead and mark sociology here as well. And I have 2 options. I have a BA, BS, or I have one specifically in administrative studies. So I'm going to mark that one. And then I'll mark this as my alternate. Okay, so if I don't get in for the Soc administrative studies, I may be eligible for the just general Soc major. So I'll hit save and continue there. And then if I say, let's see, save and continue here, I'm going to get a message. There are some errors. Okay, so here they show you that, something isn't done yet. Do you want to continue working and fix those errors or skip the page for now? And so what's not done is I didn't select the major that I want to do for Santa Cruz. So maybe I'm going to, research that and come back to it. So I'm just going to skip the page for now. So it's showing what's done. So continue to academic history. So this is where you enter all of your coursework. And there's a few different ways you can do this. If you already have completed that TAP account, the Transfer Admission Planner, then you can have, put in your login for the TAP, and then it will pull your coursework over so that you don't have to enter all that coursework again. So this is something that you could do to save yourself time. And remember, the TAP is tied to the tag. So if you are going to be tagging, it makes sense to do a TAP account anyways, okay? It's also helpful to have that TAP account so that when you meet with a rep, they can see your information as well. So then it asked me to enter my high school information. So I just kind of made up some information here about where I went to high school. And then I had to enter the colleges that I attended. So I put in that I am currently at Napa Valley College for the summer, and that I, have been at SRJC from August of 17 through December of 2019, okay? And then I selected the terms that I was enrolled. So if you were enrolled in a summer, you would include the summer. So let me show you what that looks like. So I did the dates that I attended, and I'm doing through my end time, okay? So if you are a fall transfer student, this would be through May of 2020. What's the grading system? That was already marked for me. They already knew that information. Did the term system change? No, it did not. We're on a semester system. So then here I marked all terms I was enrolled. Let's say you started in summer with Counseling 270, then you would mark summer for 2017 and include that Counseling 270 class. Are you getting a degree from this school? What is it? Okay, so I'm getting an Associates for Transfer in Soc, and I'll have that at the end of December. So save this, and it just shows the information again. and then I finished adding colleges. I'm not going to add any others. If you've attended other schools, including out of the country, you need to put those in the application. You do not want to hide any information. So for summer of 2017, I'm going to go ahead and enter a class. It's telling you what the grade codes are up here, which is really helpful. And so I'm looking for counseling. So here's counseling. Oh, it doesn't list counseling 270. So at the very bottom of this, you'll see a spot where you can say my class is not, I do not see my classes. So you enter that. The department would be counseling. The course number would be 270. And the title is, I'll just say orientation. I think it's intro to college, and it's a half a unit. And my grade was a pass. So where is the P? I guess it's PS. Let me go back up to the top and make sure that's correct. PS is pass. At SRJC, we just do P, okay? So I'm going to save and continue on that, all right? So then if I'm going to add for fall, I would come here and do the same thing. I'm looking for the courses that I took. You're going to list them all. Even if they're not here, you would click on that button, I do not see my courses, and enter them. One thing I do want to mention is on the SRJC transcript, it shows the section number. So it'll say, 2782, and then math 155. The 2782 is an internal number. That's an SRJC section number and how you registered for the class. So it is not something you would put in here. You just put math as the department and then 155 as the course number, and then intermediate algebra. Okay, and that's a 5-unit class, and my grade was a B. Okay. What is in the courses that are listed are things that are on assist. Okay, so in fall 17, let's say I took an art class. So then you can just select what it was. I took photography. My grade was an A. We do not use plus or minuses at SRJC, so you just put an A, okay? And then let's say I'm done with art, and I took Bio 10, and I earned, unfortunately, I had to withdraw from this class, so I did a WI in that one. So you can keep going. And then I took English 5, which is not in numerical order for some reason. And in this class, I got an A, okay? So you can keep going for that one term. So everything is in there. So now you can see here is fall of 17, okay? And if I want to edit or delete something, I could do that. So we continue going for each of these classes. For fall of 19, all of my grades would be in progress. So if I'm taking a communications class, oh, I'm sorry, the grade is PL for planned. So that did it itself, so that's nice, okay? So again, the UC does a good job of those types of things. So save and continue, and then it would be on there. So that one class is there, okay? So let's see, I'm going to skip this page for now. Okay, so this is minimum requirements. So this is about admissions requirements. So English, math, your 4 GE classes. And so because I didn't finish academic history, it can't pull that information. Okay, but I did want to show you that under additional information, it's asking me these questions. Have I ever been on academic probation? No. UC transfer pathway, if your major's here, just select it. If it's not, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. The California State Student ID number, this is something that can be skipped. You do not need to spend time going and finding this. It's more for freshmen. So I do want to mention this part. you have additional comments of 550 characters. So let's say one term you had to withdraw because, you got sick. So that is something that you could explain here in the application. So anything about your academic history that you would like to talk about, let's say you had to take calculus 2 times or 3 times and you really want to explain that. Or you got an F in a class and the next semester you retook it and got an A and you want to explain that. You didn't drop the class in time to get a W. So those are things that you could inform the UC system of if you wanted to share that. And again, you have 550 characters. If there's something to explain, definitely explain it, okay? And you don't need to go on and on and on. Just give that brief explanation and that will be fine. The test scores section is about your AP exams. I already finished this part, so I put that yes, I do have AP exams, and I put that I took English Lit and Composition. Now what was strange on this, and again, it's a new application, so I'm going to have to contact them, is this only went down to 2009 for some reason, and I had reported I was in high school between 2000 and 2004. So this is some glitch. I need to figure out why it's doing that. So have I received my score yet? Yes, I did. I received a 4. Now some students ask, well, I didn't receive a passing score, so do I need to include it? The UC says yes. They would like to see that you put yourself out there, that you did take the AP, even though you didn't get a passing score. It just gives a little bit of history of what you're like as a student. Okay. So save and continue. Do I have any others to add? No, I don't. And then it asks about IB tests as well as the TOEFL and any international exams. The next section is activities and awards. So this is adding in what you've been involved in. Okay. So you can see I add an educational prep program and my work experience, but I have not finished this. This one isn't done. So you can do that. So let's add another activity just to show you what the options are. So award or honor, educational prep program, extracurricular activity, volunteer/community service, or work experience. Now what they're looking for is things that you've done since you've been in college. So if you were involved in, let's say, an extracurricular activity, let's say theater arts, all throughout high school, but you did not continue that activity in college, it's not something that they necessarily want you to report. However, if you were in theater arts in high school and continued that activity while in college, then that would be something, to do. So down here you can see when did you participate in the activity. So you could mark, 10th grade through after 12th grade. And then it's asking you some questions. How much time did you spend on the activity? What was it? And so forth. Okay. Then they have scholarships. So you can mark the various scholarships that, you feel you would be eligible for. So health and human services. Maybe I'm thinking about going into teaching or social services. So for each one of these, you can kind of go in. I'm a California Community College transfer student. Let's say I graduated from a high school in Bakersfield, or actually I did from Merced. So I actually attended Merced College. So you can look through each and every one of these to see which ones, could you qualify for. Here's one specific to transfer students. Then we have the personal insight questions. So it gives an introduction of the PIQs, gives a few tips, and then it's showing you what the questions are. So there's that mandatory question. Please describe how you have prepared for your intended major, including your readiness to succeed in your upper division courses once you enroll at the university. This is not a very good question. What they're asking for is they really don't want you to start with, my major is sociology, and I've taken Soc 1 and Soc 2 and Soc 3 at SRJC. They know what courses you have taken. They want to know how the content in those courses have prepared you. What experience have you done? That type of thing. So you don't want to tell them anything you've already told them, and you've already given them your course history when you inputted all your coursework. So you don't need to tell them that again, okay? Then you have 7 questions below, and you choose 3 to answer. So leadership, what is your creative side? What's your greatest talent or skill? How have you taken advantage of a significant educational opportunity or worked to overcome an educational barrier? What's the most significant challenge you have faced? And how has this challenge affected your academic achievement? And how have you overcome the challenge? So you want to make sure you're hitting on all of those. What have you done to make your school or community a better place? And is there anything else that makes you stand out? Okay. You only have 350 words max. So these are not long essay questions that you're answering. Okay. So you really want to be concise with your wording and what you're saying. And then again, you have another additional comment section. So if there's anything else you would like to tell them, this is the place to do. 550 characters to do this. Again, you have that academic part where you could talk about any academics, but maybe there's something personal that you would like to explain in here, something about your family circumstances or who you are that you haven't had the opportunity to share. If you talked about it in your personal insight questions, there's no reason to add it here, okay? So again, you only need to put information in once. And then you can review everything for your personal insight questions and then review and submit. So I find the UC application to be quite easy. One thing I did not point out is throughout the application, they have these little question marks. Let me see if I can find one now. Let me go back into here. So, now I can't find one. But anyways, they have little question marks where you can click on that and it brings up information about that. I know where one was. There was one under demographics. So in here, I'm sorry, they're not question marks. They're little eyes for additional information. So you can see there's, an explanation of what that term means, okay? And so that is very helpful within the application. You can come on and off the application as much as you want, okay? It's saving as you go. So that's a nice thing as well. And so you can, you're hitting save and continue, I'm sorry. So again, you want to fill out the application and come to an application review session so that we can look at it and give you any feedback before you hit submit, okay? So again, the UC application is fairly easy, in my opinion, much easier than the CSU. And if you have any questions, just come in and see us in the Transfer Center or ask me through the class, obviously.